Her transformation, she transformed into essentially a wolf.
You blew it!
Yeah, I know, I fucked up with her name. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend. Like, look, that flew over my head. I was just an idiot, okay? So, on me for not realizing the obvious, like, oh, her name is Leopard, or whatever, however you pronounce it. And she's a leopard. I'm just like...
I'm retarded?
Anyway, enough about my stupidity and my apparent blindness. Let's get into this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Because I gotta say, we got some interesting tidbits of, moments and developments that have unfolded in this episode. So I'm gonna break this up into a couple segments. First, yes, the fight between Kiwi and Sister Gigantica was like 5 minutes. It was like 5-10 minutes, I think. So Kiwi actually showed some intelligence and took down Sister Gigantica rather quickly, right? She had to overpower her to an extent, but she also did think. Because she used Sister Gigantica's height and weight against her, because look, I doubt the average street in Japan can support a 50-foot tall woman who weighs, I don't know, a couple of 18-wheelers.
You don't say!
So obviously, Sister Gigantica was defeated, and we had a moment where I kind of thought, is Kiwi gonna actually kill Sister Gigantica? And she didn't. She let her live. I think that was a bit of out of mercy. Did that decision come back to haunt the entire story? Sure. If Kiwi had killed Sister Gigantica in that moment, things would turn out very differently. Now, we move on to the second big thing, which is Utena versus Donbass.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Man, y'all were not lying when you said, all the people were kind of responding to my whole prediction about this is not going to end well for Donbass, is it? And everybody's kind of comments were kind of giving me the side look like, So yeah, this ended pretty poorly. Embarrassed, humiliated, and quite frankly, metaphorically and physically spanked. Damn! By Utena, who just legitimately overpowered Donbass to an extent that I didn't think was possible. It was kind of wild seeing that fight unfold the way it did, because in the beginning, Donbass had the upper hand, right? She was taking down Utena. And the thing is, you saw the way, if you remember this episode, Utena was very much disengaged with this fight. She just didn't give a fuck to an extent, right? Especially when Donbass started going into the whole evil villain monologue. She kind of listened to Donbass's rant and went, this sounds like a child to me. And that gave her the idea of kind of in her mind turning Donbass into a child, essentially. And let's just say she overpowered this bitch and spanked the shit out of her. So not only is she spanked and humiliated, not just in front of Utena, but also everybody else who came to help Utena because they thought, oh my gosh, she's probably losing or she needs our help. But no, Utena was completely fine by herself. Then another big thing happens is during this fight, Utena essentially transforms, I guess you could say, or gets an upgrade. Right, she evolves, if we're going to go with the Pokemon or Digimon term. She evolved. Utena's horns became bigger. She had more, several stars on her face. Her fingers basically became borderline claws. She had big demonic wings on her back. She generally came off as, how shall we say this much? Somebody you don't want to fuck with.
How do you feel?
Pissed off. I'm ready for round 3.
And Donbass learned that lesson the hard way. Now, Donbass is humiliated, walks away, right? Utena kind of forgets about her for a second. Then, because she celebrates whatever, because she says, oh, we won. Because, look, Donbass ain't coming back from that. Like, you getting spanked like a child is something you don't come back from. Not even your old ex-teammates are willing to help you out in that situation. But as Donbass is trying to escape, right, she grabbed her coat, then she runs into creepy motherfucker. And let me just say this much. I was like...
That escalated quickly.
But he showed his true colors, and he showed an expression that just made me go, that is why I call him creepy. That expression is something you don't want to see in a dark space. Because basically what he revealed is, so I guess that's a hint at what he can do. And he basically told her, you were just a useful pawn for me because I kind of knew you would probably betray me, or at the very least you wouldn't follow through with what I wanted out of you. But what you did was you helped everybody else get stronger. You helped the ones I actually give a fuck about wise into becoming stronger. Especially like Utena is probably like his queen or like his king piece. She's literally that piece for him that is going to be able to rip through the good magical girls easily. Obviously there's going to be a conflict of interest given Utena's preference where she doesn't want to kill magical girls, and obviously creepy motherfucker wants to kill magical girls. And well, we then find out another thing. Sister Gigantica, let's just say she was working for creepy motherfucker this entire time. She comes out of nowhere after like creepy motherfucker basically told Don Boss, hey, you're no longer useful to me. Sister Gigantica appears out of nowhere, right behind him, reaches out, and the screen fades to black.
What the hell is even that? Thank you!
I'm going to assume that Don Boss went. So yeah, Don Boss is probably dead. Then we get a moment between, everybody kind of celebrating, going, okay, the day has been won. And, Kiwi is going to get her hotel date probably with Utena.
Stop it. Get some help.
As well as Utena being made the leader. Essentially, she's turned into the supreme commander of like the evil magical girl team. We're going to see how that unfolds. Now, the last thing I'm going to mention is the good magical girls appeared, which, I mean, that's not much of a shock to me. I kind of expected it to happen. But the big thing is Bubbles, much like Utena, evolved, right? She got a new kind of transformation, a new outfit. So that was kind of neat to see. We didn't get to see much of it. All we saw was like a silhouette of it and a back shot. I'm assuming it's like a kimono / like shrine maiden-esque uniform. I'm going to make that assumption given what like Bubbles was doing like in episode 2, I think.
Oh my.
And generally speaking, that's about it. Honestly, God, I did like the episode. Again, the fights were a lot shorter than I thought they would be, but I kind of thought they were fine, especially for what this is. Again, magical girls appeared like I thought they would, or at the very least, I kind of had the expectation that they would at least make an appearance. So I'm glad to see the story wasn't dumb enough to ignore them. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed to know that this is like episode 11. I'm like, damn, we're really nearing the end of the season already. Think about this. Utena, for example, it is really odd. Like, it's amazing to see how she went from being this like really reluctant girl to like how she's developed from the first episode till now. It's kind of wild to see how much her life has changed in like 11 episodes. I really do like seeing the progression for Utena. It's been interesting to see. But man, all I have to say is this bitch got spanked in front of everybody and then proceeded to get crushed like a bug. Damn, bro, that's a fucked up way to go out.
You don't say!